Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the WADcast episode number 117. It is the Writers, Actors, Directors podcast. Now, those great jobs on a set in between that help bring all this magic to life. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, joined, as always, by the guy that I always consider my best boy,
Oh,
Brandon.
thank you. You're my best boy too, sweetheart. Mwah. Happy Friday night, everybody. It is good to be here and just unwind, let loose, and talk about shows that we think are good, bad, intolerable, meh, and yeah, I don't really know how else to put it. There's just so much to get caught up on as far as what's been coming out. It's been a very, very controversial week for news shows. Even with shows that you would think would actually just like be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, but we usually talk about writers, actors, directors, and everything in between. But we do tend to talk about the actual things that are trending in entertainment and in television or streaming. I guess would be the more modern term, since who the hell has basic cable anymore, right? So,
But yeah, we got to talk about the finished product sometime, right?
yeah, eventually you got to get there.
It's not just about making it. You got to talk about the stuff they make too.
Yeah, and there's established people just cranking out. It's like they're churning shit instead of butter. So
It's me, isn't it? I knew it.
No, well,
I knew it.
Can't win them all.
But
anyway,
before we go on, a little notification tells me that there's a birthday among our peer group.
Oh, that's right. Mr. Brian Wallace. I assume that's who you're speaking of.
Yes.
Okay. Brian Wallace, a very talented writer, an amazing actor, great director, good producer, and just a really, really all-around great guy. He really is a really cool guy. So I'm privileged to say is a friend of mine. Huh?
He was a wonderful guest as well.
Yeah, he was a great guest. He's a really good sport about the cold read.
Yeah, and nailed it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and that's back when I was strictly using my phone's speaker, and I always sounded robotic on the show every time I spoke. It sounded like I was calling from a payphone on the highway. Like going back and listening to the earlier episodes, that's exactly what it sounds like to me. I'm like at a payphone on a busy highway. That's all I ever sound like. But no, it's his birthday, Brian. Happy birthday, buddy! I hope you had a great day today. Although I already texted him earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I made sure there was a shout out on our internationally, not syndicated.
Not yet. We're getting there, almost there. But yeah, Brian, happy birthday, bud. I hope you had a great day. Hope you made it as awesome as you are. And yeah. Now we're done giving you a shout out. We're moving on with the show now.
Mm-hmm.
So
on to segment 2.
Everybody gets their 5 minutes of fame on our show, and then it's back to us. That's why we have this show.
I mean 60 seconds.
Yeah, 60 seconds. So, and I was going to give someone a shout out on our page, from our Facebook page.
No shout outs. Make sure you like.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
so you can get shout out.
We never do these shout outs, do we? We never really mention people that leave reviews on our pages at all. I can't remember the last time we actually did, but
mostly
once in a while,
sexual harassment, So please keep it coming.
But once in a while, you have to give these people a shout out. You have to really let them know that you see them. You do, because when you don't, it gets kind of messy, and no one likes a mess. No one likes to not be seen or anything like that.
Nobody likes a mess.
Yeah. And I would love to give this person a review, but unfortunately, I just wow, I accidentally Deleted it. Oh no.
Whatever will we do with this segment?
Man. Yeah. I just actually deleted it while I was about ready to shout out to that person. The poor spammer. God. Moving on. Yeah. So we have a we have an interesting show. We have things that we want to talk about here. And like I said, it's like there are great things that have come out. Even like in the last like 2 months, because like going on Netflix, you have Wednesday that came out. Wednesday was actually a pretty damn good show. I enjoyed it.
I'll finish it eventually.
I'm not fond of Luis Guzman as Gomez. He's proof that looking the part does not necessarily mean that you're right for the part.
But Luis Guzman is Greendale Community College's greatest alumni.
No, I mean the thing is, like he's actually is a very talented actor.
Yes,
he's hysterical. His stand up, what he used to do stand up all the time. It was great. I got a chance to see him actually perform once at a theater. I've met him once. He was a really, really sweet and humble dude. Like just like really gracious with people. I like him as a person. I think he's hysterical, but as Gomez, I can't at all. See, Raul Julia at least had a ton of chemistry with Angelica Houston, right? And God, what are the actors' names that played Gomez and Morticia in Nisi's TV show? John Aston and God, what is her name? It's a tip of my tongue moment here. Carolyn Jones, that's it. Okay. Are you on mute? Unmute yourself. Yeah, all right. I'll finish my statement.
I mute myself when the background gets loud because it's just rude. Don't need that bleeding into the show audio.
I mean, you're a family. You have a litter of children.
Mm-hmm.
Your house is like the Waltons. But either way, so there just wasn't any chemistry between Luis Guzman and Catherine Zeta-Jones. But Jenna Ortega, holy shit. Wow. This is a one-man show here. I feel like I know what they're like on Broadway. Like, either way. We're just going to wait for him to chime in here. He is going to chime in, and I'm here for the SpongeBob content.
Welcome back, Derpy Entertainment.
There we go. Hi. Hi.
Did I miss something?
No, I just said.
Go on.
No. Should have been paying attention to the lesson plan. You weren't paying attention to the lesson. You missed it. So now we're just going to have to move on to the next subject. So we're going to talk about really, 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 really. Let's just try to keep it in order here. The Last of Us premiered last week.
Yes, well, this week, right? Sunday?
No, it was like isn't the second episode coming out this week?
Sunday is the beginning of the week.
Oh, well, then this week then. The Last of Us premiered this week. I would say last week because it's the weekend. The week's end, the weekend. So technically, I would say that was last week. But it's Sunday through Monday. Whatever. So it premiered.
The Sabbath is Saturday. That's the last day of the week.
No.
Sunday is the first day of the new week.
Maybe you're a Christian. No. I'll get behind that.
Well, look at the
Anyway,
calendar. Look at a calendar. But yes, as Derpy mentions, the second episode is this Sunday, and that's really all that matters. As long as you know it's this upcoming Sunday.
Yeah, but and it was a decent job. Again, they did a really good job with the show. It's another post-apocalyptic show, but that's what the game was.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you something. Do you think that this whole post-apocalyptic storytelling is just getting kind of like a little worn out?
No, it's a warning, of course. It's preparing us for the apocalypse and the post of.
The very first people to die would be like the ones that are like, I'm prepared for the apocalypse. Like yes. The guys like what are they called? Like the shit hits the fan specialists or whatever they, huh?
The preppers.
Yeah, the doomsday preppers. Most of them would be the first to die.
And then it would be the podcasters, unfortunately. But we're not first.
I mean, the ones that never mind. I was going to make a joke, but I won't. I'd feel bad. And plus, the F-bomb was going to be in that one. I saved that one for later on.
I have a question. I have a question for you.
I might have an answer.
Okay. Just for the sake of kicking microphones, for the sake of argument, let's say that you're a doomsday prepper, right?
Okay.
And you're preparing for Armageddon, the apocalypse, the end of times, whatever you want to call it. What are you prepping for? Exactly. I mean, the end of times, right?
Wait, say it one more time. You froze. It froze up for 1 second. What did you say?
I mean, what are you prepping for if you're prepping for the end times? It's like at the end of the world, you need 10,000 cans of pork and beans for what? You're going to be dead.
I mean, it depends on what the world-ending event is.
I suppose, but
I mean, honestly, your best bet would be to move as far into the country as possible, into like the woods or wilderness, and stay the hell away from like the major cities and all that stuff. Because I mean, I went through this whole list when I was writing Infectocalypse. I went through an entire list of all the places that you should never go to in the event of any kind of apocalyptic scenario, whether it's everyone like for some people want a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
you know that you know that, right? People want a zombie apocalypse. They want like a zombie or infected apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
Like who the hell would want that? I mean, God.
Seems like a lot of running would be involved, and.
But either way, I remember like this one guy was something he wanted to like. Oh, someday the zombie apocalypse will be here, and I'll be ready. William's like, you better get your cardio going, man. I don't think you're going to make it.
I do believe FEMA does have a plan for that, though.
Oh no, they do. They do. I've got to look it up, but they actually do have a plan in the event of a zombie apocalypse. But you know what? Look what happened with COVID-19. We are screwed. Oh.
There's no such thing as zombies.
It's not even that aspect of things. It's the way everything was done. Hey, you can sit down at this outdoor restaurant right here, but wear a mask when you're walking around this 3-foot tall iron gate, and sit next to this big open area that like is not protecting you from the sidewalk, and then take your mask off. Then you're safe. Can you imagine those rules in a zombie apocalypse?
Excuse me, sir. Yes, you, the one eating the brains. I need to test to see if you're a zombie.
Yeah. What is it? All the people. What was this saying? Like, all these people that are saying it's a hoax would be the first ones to get bit and then lie about it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like, I'm not even going to get political about this stuff. I hate politics to begin with. Screw the government, both sides of it. I don't care. But the thing is I can just picture all the people that are going to be walking around like with patches of like band-aids and bandages over their bites, just walking it off. Like they're not going to turn into a zombie at some point.
I got bit 6 times and I'm fine.
But either way, so going back to the original point, Last of Us came out, and people actually are so pissed off because his died at halfway through the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, spoiler alert, guys! Sorry for the first episode, she dies. But if you played the game, you would know this because she dies in the first like 5 minutes of the game.
I'm glad you went ahead and ripped that Band-Aid
So,
off.
wait.
I can say my favorite thing so far about The Last of Us, the TV show, has been the fact that everyone else can cry like a baby with me. I'm no longer alone.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, it was sad as hell, man. Like, I mean, like, look, Pedro Pascal, I feel so bad for that guy. You know, I feel so bad for him. First off, he had to give up his wish. Okay. The man had to give up his wish. And then he had to say goodbye to Grogu.
Yeah.
Getting kicked out of his creepy helmet cult that he was in. And then now he's got to earn his way back into it. And now he loses another kid.
And then ages 20 years moments later.
Yeah, and fast forward from 2003 to 2023, he ages 20 years. But the thing is, when the daughter died, that was emotional because if you never played the game, you were expecting them to make it. Like you were expecting for them to get out and have her be like an adult in this resistance once the shit hit the fan. She doesn't. She dies in the middle of a field in his arms, and he with him weeping over her dead body. It's sad. It is sad.
Killed by someone that is supposed to be, traditionally a protector.
Yeah. And I know that I know I made that post that upset your sister. I won't go into it on the show. But Betty, listen, I love you. I adore you. I will apologize that you were offended by what I said. But, come on, Pedro Pascal, the way he is, his acting and everything else, that is a gorgeous man. Gay or straight, every person should be ready to make love to that man. And Josh, I know you are. Look at you, man. Look at those eyes. You're just over here just thinking, when is your time? When's it going to happen for you?
Now,
what's the expression?
Dwayne and I are giving you.
Yeah, but you have more facial expressions than Dwayne Johnson does. So that man's got 4. And we've covered this on the show.
Yeah,
we've covered this on the show. See,
wrong.
You look like you're holding in a fart. You look like you're holding in a really bad case of Arby's.
Well, there's no such thing as a bad case of Arby's.
Well, no, Arby's is delicious, but you're looking you're holding in the aftermath of it.
Maybe, yeah. The mic picks up everything, so I can't just let it go. Just know that whenever I hit mute, there it is. Put that out there.
Thank God they never made a smelloscope.
Good news, everyone.
Oh God. Anyway, but I mean, Last of Us, I will say, when it goes into the future and everything else, they did change a few things. I saw someone complaining about how, and this is going to be a spoiler riddle thing. The show's been out for almost a week now, guys. Just get on it, go watch it. But they changed things where I think it was Robbie, right? Robbie was selling the car battery. He was trying to sell the battery that wasn't any good instead of selling guns. In the game, I believe he was a gun runner, right?
I believe you might be correct.
It's been a couple years, man.
To be honest.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me. So,
And one of these days, I'm going to get the platinum for it. But now
and
there's
I know
three different versions. So
yeah, and it's like, and I know that someone told me that they thought it was just they're like, oh well, it's just like it's a boring show about them trying to get this girl like through security. It's like, well, no, it's more than that. It's if it's anything like the first game, it's going to get downright horrifying, creepy and horrifying and brutal. Because that game, if I remember the game right, it is really twisted. But like I said, it's been a long time. So
yeah, it's
but
definitely going to
anyway,
be full of ups and downs. And if the first season follows the first game, then who?
oh yeah, it's going to get insane. But moving on from Last of Us, though, there's been other shows on Netflix. I feel like we're from Netflix centric for this episode here.
Well, I think it's the natural go-to. It's the more ubiquitous streaming service.
Yeah. But let's see here. So you have that, and then we have a show that I've only watched a few episodes of, but you've already watched the whole season.
Yes.
That 70s show was a big show when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was very, very popular. We spoke about it all the time. Like but now they have a distant sequel, and since I brought up Last of Us, I'll let you talk about this one.
Okay, let me pull up some pertinence then real quick. First thing to know is, of course, that it is set in the That 70s Show universe. And for those of you unfamiliar with That 70s Show, it was a show about teenagers growing up in the 70s. To make it a little more personal, this is the era my dad kind of came of age in, and he enjoyed seeing, the show and saying, that's what my friends and I did. So this is kind of that same thing for me and Brandon, because we were 90s kids, essentially,
Yep.
where when we came of age, we are millennials.
Yeah,
But
we were around these kids' age in the show a few years
Mhm.
after the show takes place.
Yes, and well, and I thought this was going to should be a show about
Actually,
like millennials, but it turns out it's like they're like borderline generation.
actually, can I say this really quick before you get into it? I just realized doing the math, we were right at their age when the show takes place because they were like, I think she was turning 15. So we were
95.
right at that cusp, like between 14, 15, around that area. So we were right
I
there.
turned 13 in 95. So they're all, a year or two older than I am.
Yeah.
So if we flashed forward, they would be in their, mostly mid 40s right now.
Yeah. We were their age when The Lost World came out.
Which wasn't 95. Just saying, wasn't 95.
Said the designers need to do their job.
Mm-hmm. But
Stop Googling shit.
the
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
that 90s show takes place mostly in the home of the Foremans, Kitty and Red, much like the first show, not like the second show, if you recall, because this is the third show in the series.
That 80s show, I was about to bring that up.
That 80s show did not do well.
Oh my god. And Glenn Howerton was in that too, by the way.
Who?
Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. No?
Mm.
Oh god.
I've only seen a handful of, It's Always
He
Sunny.
does the voice of Shaggy in the Velma series. Have you ever seen the movie The Hunt?
Yes.
Okay. The guy, like the really stuck up rich younger white guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
him. And it's why he's in Philadelphia. He plays like the sociopath twin brother. So he's a great actor. I'm just shocked that he was in that '80s show, but that was also in 2002. So
The
God,
auspicious
was that
beginnings.
long?
How long has it been since that '80s show?
21 years.
Really?
It came out in 2000. First episode date January 23rd, 2002. Final episode date May 2002. It did not last long.
No.
And while we're looking this up, let me look up the writers of the '90s show.
Look up the what from the '90s show?
I keep meaning to look at the writers for that '90s show because they suck. I want to get blacklisted in Hollywood for saying these people suck. It's that bad. I need more than just like music and TV show references for the show to be good. Let's see.
Okay, it says for that '90s pilot, the story was by Bonnie Turner and Terry
Turner.
Who?
Oh my God, 82 and 75. That explains a lot.
Yeah, they were best known for creating the sitcoms Third Rock from the Sun and That 70s Show, and from '86 until '92, they were staff writers for SNL. So when it comes to and they were responsible for writing or screenwriting 6 films, including Coneheads, Wayne's World, Wayne's World 2, Tommy Boy,
and the Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah,
and that's shocking that's what the pilot episode was with some of it. Well, I mean, the Brady Bunch movie. I think that's where they kind of got their inspiration for the show. Did they have anything like? I mean, but they created that '70s show, so I don't see how the hell.
Well, that's just it. They created it, so they weren't.
They
were working on SNL in the '90s. They weren't teenagers.
Oh.
And I'm sure we could probably take some time to do a deep dive into the writers of that '90s show. I don't know if we have.
Well, I'll let you talk about while I do this deep dive. It's okay. No, you talk. Okay. I got the time. Let's shame these people. Enough. I got you, bro.
John Anomalous says hello. And when can we expect original productions that reflect some writing talent?
There's plenty of them. Go independent. Always go independent. That's where most of the really great writing is. It's kind of like
yeah, great writing's happening. It's being produced all the time, just not generally under the guise of a major studio.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's like look at like music. Music these days is so cookie cutter and bad. It's all the same shit over and over again. But if you look at the independent routes, the independent artists, these people are amazing. And some of them, and they're even a lot of them are even starting to refuse signing on to record labels. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Like they're refusing record labels, and they're absolute millions of dollars of money that they're trying to throw at them. But that's what I would say. Go to independent. Amazon Prime has plenty of amazing, independent films.
Oh yeah. Amazon's a great place for indie films, and you know what? Not just indie, but foreign films.
Oh yeah.
Netflix has a rather large and quite impressive selection of like Bollywood films and Korean films, and a lot of them are really good, quite original. Yeah. Like Squid Game. I know that's not a movie, but it's still one of those things that's like it came from nowhere, and its quality is what really carries it. Without that extra big studio, hand. That's basically where all the good stories are these days.
I don't know if
So
it's me or you, but I cannot hear you at all right now.
it's probably you. But anyway, that 90s show. Eric Foreman, you
It's,
gonna let me talk about this 90s show thing or what? Cool. Okay. Eric and Donna have a kid. Her name is Leia, of course, named after Star Wars. And after visiting Grandma and Grandpa, she decides she wants to stay the summer in one place, and that's where
okay.
the
Can you hear me at
story
all?
really. Cool. Okay. Eric and Donna have a kid. Her name's Leia. I can hear you fine.
Okay. Can you hear me at all?
But apparently, popping peas. But apparently, you can't hear me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I can't hear you. Wait. Yes, I can hear you, but you can't hear me. Anyway, that 90s show, Leia wants to spend the summer with Grandma and Grandpa and, new friends that she meets along the way, including, a couple of kids of former friends. What? Hold on. What? We seem to have lost the Brandon. Oh, well. I mean, no, that's terrible. He's probably watching. Play along. Where did Brandon go? So anyway. Oh, he's back. I mean, he's back. Trying to connect.
Okay. There we go. I don't know what the hell happened. It cut off. I looked up the show on our Facebook page. I could hear everything you were saying on the show. I'm like, oh well, I got nothing. So everything you said for like a good 3-minute period while I was trying to figure out my side of things, I didn't hear. But what's important is the masses heard it.
Yes, everybody heard it.
Yeah.
Except you.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to say is Leia wants to stay with Grandma and Grandpa over the summer because she meets, friends. New friends. Only friends. Like she's really got that whole lonely thing going for her.
Yeah, she is an abnormally lonely girl.
Yeah.
Like very sheltered.
She looks normal, too.
She looks like a prisoner. She acts like a prisoner, though.
This is 1995. And she's very average, normal looking. But again, this is 95. Like grunge and weird things going on as far as style goes. And yet, nope. This kid has just not been a part of pop culture, I guess. So
yeah, the whole world's just passing right by her, pretty much.
Yeah, and she lives in Chicago. I don't understand that. She lives in Chicago, and she's just not part of the pop culture zeitgeist.
Well, I mean, it was written by Grandma and Grandpa.
It was.
So that explains a lot. Looking at the first episode, I'm like, this. I told you on the phone, it's either written by someone that's very, very old, that was not even in their 20s or 30s, 20s or whatever in the 90s, or even a teenager in the 90s, or it was written by someone that's so young that they weren't even born at that time. If not, they were born later on in the 90s, around 99. It was written by Grandma and Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
They were at retirement age when they wrote it.
The pilot and the story were developed by. But the thing, as far as the series, I'm not going to break down episode by episode. That's not what we do here. But the thing that kind of the first half of the season Uh, the it really bugged me that they really really like shoved it down your throat that this is the 90s, right?
No, yeah.
It wasn't a story set in the 90s as much as it was almost like an infomercial of,
This could have been
hey,
this
remember the 90s?
this show could have taken place in 2001 with all the references, and actually it would have made more sense with all the failures that they made in mistaken years of releases of songs and movies.
Yeah.
But then like no, it very much was like, oh, we're in the 90s. Yeah, it's like first off, can we just talk about how that girl like she walks over to Donna's old house
Mm-hmm.
and just stares at a girl through her bedroom window who's dancing and singing to "You Ought to Know" by Alanis Morissette.
Mm-hmm. As we all were in 95.
And then they, well, I wasn't staring at people through their bedroom windows, like right outside their bedroom window.
No, most of us were in a tree across the street like normal people.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's all about the covert op. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is bunch of George McFly's over here.
Back to the Future
But
is my favorite movie.
it's just it just I don't know. It had like an entirely different tone to it than that '70s show did. And that '70s show, it had like to me, yeah, I thought it was kind of campy at times, but it was at least more enjoyable to me to watch.
Here's the key difference when it comes to the first half of the season versus the entire run of that 70s show. That 70s show was from beginning to end a slice of life of what life was like as a kid in the 70s, and wasn't so much a come on guys, you remember this stuff. This
Yeah,
the references to the 70s were a lot more, naturally included. Kelso saying things like, I want to see Led Zeppelin, let's go. And then, they go to a concert. That's the premise of it, the episode. They're going to a concert, or just anything like that, where it's just what they're doing. They don't take any particularly painful stakes to point something out. But in that
yeah.
90s show, it just seems like things are very much mentioned as, you know, this is that 90s thing. I'm sure you remember that 90s thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it starts
It's
off
annoying.
with yeah, it starts off with like the Foreman's dancing to what was it, Grooves in the Heart.
Mhm.
The very
Delight.
first thing you see is like them dancing to the song,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay, how many '90s songs did it cram into the first episode?
I don't know. I
Because it
wasn't
seems like
tracking it down.
it was like shortly after that they were like just jumping over to yeah, it feels like 2 seconds later she's at that girl's house like listening to Alanis Morissette. Uh, then the whole like as you and I were talking about like in the second episode with the Clerks reference,
Hmm.
like, oh, I love Kevin Smith. Well, that it was a limited release. It went through Sundance and got picked up by what was that, Miramax, right?
Hmm.
Got picked up on Miramax and then was released on VHS. Even then, it was like a limited release because it was still an independent film by a nobody. Mallrats didn't come out, I think, until '96, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, that was Kevin Smith was
He was
not
nobody.
somebody teenagers would recognize in the middle of Wisconsin. I think that's fair to say, wouldn't you? I'm guessing maybe. I don't know if you're frozen or if you're just staring at me.
All right.
It happened again, huh? Okay. Well, I'll keep the kids entertained.
1 second.
So yeah,
Sorry, Josh. 1 second, buddy.
Okay.
I don't know what to say.
I'm just gonna go ahead and mute him. There we go. Now we can keep talking. But I don't think, Kevin Smith movie at the time would have gotten a lot of. And I know, did a little research. Yes, it was on VHS at that particular point in time, since that 90s show is supposed to pick up June of 1995, and according to my research, it was made widely available on VHS in May of 1995. So, there's a good possibility that this random video store out in the middle of Wisconsin did have a copy, and it is technically feasible that for some reason or another that these kids in their not even really mid-teens, just low, 15, 16-ish, would check it out for whatever reason. It's rated R. Let's check it out. That kind of thing. But it just seems like quite this, just a bit of a stretch, especially to say it's, the Kevin Smith movie, Clerks. Well, at that point in time, yes, I'm being completely nitpicky here. I get it. But I also saw, Jurassic Park The Lost World movie boxes in the background, and that sure as heck didn't come out in 95. But I digress. So me putting on my little bit of a detective hat, I guess, or just a dick hat, whatever you want to call it, it didn't make a lot of sense for anybody to reference Clerks as a Kevin Smith movie, let alone the Kevin Smith movie, let alone a movie at all that anybody would be particularly worried about watching it in the middle of Wisconsin when there hasn't been, Kevin Smith wasn't Kevin Smith yet. And when they said, oh, let's look to see if Clerks is here, looked up the computer, and I was like, you know what? If it's not stolen, this whole premise is garbage. Because for a long time, Clerks held the moniker of the most stolen VHS or the most stolen movie from Blockbuster for a good long while. And yeah, it wasn't stolen, but it was rented. Somebody already had it. And that was quite unfortunate for the heroes of the show. Now, I will say this. The kids do bring a lot of energy to the show. Not really in the same way that the original cast did back when that 70s show first debuted. It's still a good energy. I think some of the performances really fall under the trappings of, that first season, those first few episodes where everything's just maybe a tad bit over the top, when people haven't quite got the characters zeroed in on with nuances and just more subtle behaviors. A couple people do kind of nail it pretty quick. Jake Kelso, pulling off the Ashton Kutcher, does a great job. Ozzy, absolutely love Ozzy. He's sort of a sequel to Fez, just kind of out there. He's a little flamboyant. He's great. And at the same time, probably one of the more practical of the group, which is saying something. Everyone else still does have that, like I said, that opening season shakes. They gotta really figure out how to tone it down a bit, get into the characters, and let the jokes let the stories carry the show. It doesn't have to be, the antics, the over the top performances that make it funny, and that laugh track. Just in general, I'm not a fan. I don't know. It kind of feels like someone's telling me when to laugh. Not a big fan of that. I'll laugh when it's funny. Again, maybe I'm just being mean about the whole thing. I don't know. But I think the real reason a lot of people are going to be tuning in is to see what the original cast are up to. And yeah, we get check-ins from almost everybody because, well, one of them is having some legal problems at the moment. So we didn't really get a chance to mention what he's doing these days. And that's probably for the best. But checking in with, Eric and Donna carrying all the luggage in, and she's like, "Oh, thanks for the help." And he's like, "Yeah." Still getting treated like a baby by his mother. Catching up with Kelso and Jackie in briefly. Fez becoming, instead of just a cameo, kind of a bigger role than the other kids from the original cast, doing great stuff. We see Leo again. Tommy Chung. Hey man, love that guy. He seems to be the only one that actually knows how to do it perfect every time. Welcome back, Brandon.
Hi. Yeah, my phone. I don't know what's going on. I had to reset everything here, but I was listening on the. Yeah, I was listening to the actual feed on Facebook. But yeah, no, it's like you were saying with the laugh track. That took me out. I don't know why shows these days think that they still need this laugh track. It's not needed unless it's hell. Well, yeah, but I mean, even after the 90s, there's shows that have come out that rely on this laugh track. And it's one of those deals where it's just I do not see the point. I hate that. I hate those things. I mean, a live audience is one thing. Live audience. I don't know if you've ever gone to a taping of a sitcom.
I have not.
It's interesting because they have a comedian that goes and he warms up the crowd and everything else, and he tells jokes, gets them in the mood to laugh, and then they do their tapings and all that stuff, and then they have the comedian come back out and keep the energy up. But they also tell you when you're supposed to applause or when you're supposed to make some whooping sound if someone kisses somebody or shit like that. I mean, just yeah. I have this app on my phone called the Pocket Sitcom. I have people at work that are begging me to get rid of that app because I'll make a joke at someone's expense and I'll hit the laugh track.
I need that app.
They'll try to say a joke back to me, and I'll give them a boo sound or something.
Boo. Anyway, question from the audience. Go.
What's that? What kind of hat is that? What? My hat?
Well, I'm not wearing it.
Oh yeah, it's Hurley shirt, Hurley shirt, Hurley hat. Just coincidental, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that wasn't coordinated at all. Definitely not.
My Hurley hat.
I will say this though: the back half of that '90s show does what the first half didn't. So the second 5 episodes, they really started letting the story take the lead and let the characters be themselves, and followed through. Yeah, there's still the over-the-top references, but not nearly as many. It tightens up the story really nicely and starts getting you invested. The only problem is, as soon as you're invested, it's and the season's over.
It's just. I mean, if the second half of the first season finally gets into the characters having their chance to grow, then it took too damn long.
Oh yeah, because like I said,
at least you saw the
nostalgia. Let's try to capture everybody in.
So, ladies and gentlemen, all of our listeners, I want you to think about something and wrap your minds around this right now. Now, I understand why they got the writers for that 90s show, because they are the showrunners for that 70s show and that 80s show. They are very successful writers. They're a very successful screenwriter couple.
Well, they just did the pilot.
I know. But what I'm getting at, though, is like they are so far beyond the age that any like studio in the industry would ever hire to write a show about teenagers. If you and I were to come into a room and pitch our idea to executives about a story about teenagers, if they're already writing the series, we'd be asked to leave because we're too old. We're not hipper with it. We don't know what the kids are experiencing.
I do.
Well, I'm just saying that we would be told that. Mind you, these studios are idiots. I mean, it's like, what was the studio that wanted? God, there was a movie where they wanted an alien, and oh God, what was it?
A movie they wanted an alien.
No, they wanted. So there was a studio head that wanted an alien in a movie that had nothing to do with aliens. And it was turned down. It's going to drive me crazy. Think about it.
It does sound kind of sound familiar. It sounds like a John Peters classic. You know what I'm saying? I guess we're going back to the Google machine. Something else they didn't have in the 90s. You better hope you found a .com that was dedicated to the thing that you wanted to find out
Witches
about.
of Eastwick, that's what it was. John Peters.
That's what I said. It sounds
John
like
Peters wanted an alien to be wanted aliens to appear in the movie out of nowhere. Because he thought it would have been a great little curveball to throw aliens in a movie about, the devil and witches.
For those of you that are not familiar with Mr. John Peters, I just have 3 words for you. Wild, Wild West.
He wanted the final. He wanted Kevin Smith's Superman script to end with a fight against a giant spider. Since he didn't get that, since that never came to fruition, he made the final villain in Wild Wild West a giant spider.
He got his giant spider.
I would have no doubt that if I knew he wasn't in it or a part of it, I would have said that he was responsible for that movie, Eight-Legged Freaks.
We need
about all the giant spiders. It's like that producer on that Blue Oyster Cult skit on SNL. I got a fever. And the cure is more spiders. Oh, God.
We need lots of spiders.
What a schmuck.
Yeah. But I did watch something else this week, other than those 2 shows.
Okay.
One that it's not featured on our poster. I watched the new Night Court.
Oh, yeah. I just threw a few things on the poster, and then I saw that you had already posted an event for the show. So, but yeah,
Night Court's back.
Not the same without Bull.
That's Bull.
Yeah, that is Bull. Bull was the entire show. He was the best part of the original Night Court. I loved him.
Hello, Kente.
Hi, Kente.
A new Harry, a new Dan. Nope. No new Harry. Harry's dead. Dan is still there, though. Well, Dan comes back. Dan Fielding, John Larroquette, the man himself.
He is the best part of that show.
Hands down. And Harry's daughter, those 2 carry the whole thing. Because as I said about that 90s show, they have that, this is a sitcom, let's overact thing going on for it. And other than those two characters, they're the only ones that seem to get it. But of course, they're the
Yeah,
ones that have the resume, the sitcom resume. They've been doing it for years. So
yeah. It's
they
like everyone
know what
knows
they're
those like
doing.
their time to shine. Like they're all fighting for their spot, like in their place in the spotlight to make a joke. That's how it felt to me watching that. It wasn't bad. It was I don't know, very campy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And again, hopefully they'll do kind of what that 90s show did and find a way to dial it back so the actors can be the characters instead of just caricatures. You know?
yeah, yeah.
John
It's
Anonymous has a question. I assume
oh,
it's for one of us
am I
because
in
only
LA?
one of
I'm in
us.
LA. Josh is in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in California. He's in Florida.
California. I'm Florida.
So, but
That's why the picture's all bright and sunny because, Florida.
yeah. No, but it's I just like I said, like the laugh tracks in that one too.
Yeah.
Unless it was filmed in front of an actual audience, but a lot of these shows aren't. A lot of them aren't. But they'll get back there eventually. But like a lot of the shows are filmed like last year, the year before, especially out here. Just, but with Dan, like he just killed it. Like I mean, just and there's a sweet scene where he meets Judge Stone's daughter for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually had a lot of while it got really campy and at times to me like intolerable to watch, that one scene had so much heart in it.
Yeah, John Larroquette brought the gravity, and it was nice change of pace for that episode. Very much so.
Yep. But yeah, it was actually like the I caught the first episode. It was it was okay. It's just I just can't stand a lot of the over the top. Like you said, like this is a sitcom actor. Like like the actors are like, oh my god, it's a sitcom. I'm going to do whatever they do in sitcoms. Like just because even Bull wasn't over the top. He was actually just very deadpan with a lot of his show. They were all very deadpan in the original Night Court with their jokes. Like it was just like that subtle delivery.
That's what made it so great.
Huh?
That's what made it so great.
Well, yeah. Like if you were to go back and watch the original Night Court and then
which I did
watch this one, it's just night and day between the two pilots. So,
like I said, I'm hoping they find a way to dial it in. John says it worked for him. It worked for me too. I just want to see it toned down.
Get better.
The old Night Court.
I noticed with a lot. I told you about this earlier. When we were talking on the phone earlier today, or either today or yesterday, all these long awaited sequels that keep being shoveled out. Sometimes they get it. Most times they don't.
Yeah, I get that.
Like that 90s show didn't really have the same thing that 70s show did. The new Night Court didn't have the same appeal to me that the original Night Court did.
Maybe you're just old.
Cobra Kai had none of the heart that the original Karate Kid movies had.
Because it was about the bad guys.
Well, I mean, it's not even just that. It's just like, I mean, we discussed Cobra Kai on the show before. All the over the top, if everything was a coincidental encounter or overhearing a part of a conversation, only to then run off. And that's how they carried the story forward for all these seasons. Kids just keep misconstruing information and run off with it and start another fight somewhere.
Yeah, that's exactly how kids do things.
And the adults do it too. constantly,
that's how childlike
nonstop.
adults do things.
So it's just like, well, I'm
Me.
just saying, it's just like the original Karate Kid like movies, like they weren't like phenomenal films, but they were ways to carry the story forward without all the constant over the top coincidental situations to do it. Like there were good movies It's just like I mean, whatever now. I mean, like, and now they have like a Tron 3 with what's his face?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto is going to be the star of the new Tron movie because he's just
it's Tron in time.
Yeah, Tron in time. Oh man, I would prefer Nicolas Cage. Like I could picture Nicolas Cage just caging it up in a Tron movie. But I'm very, like I told someone else, I'm very, huh?
As I want to see Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage in Tron.
I'm just curious how Jared Leto's going to. I'm curious how he's going to method act his way through a movie about a program that puts its users in a death battle.
VR death battles for 6 months straight.
I'm overrating the original Karate Kid movies.
That's weird because you only said they were okay.
Yeah, no, they're not good. They're not great movies. They're entertaining, kind of, but they're just, yeah. But it's like I'm curious because like Tron Legacy, I must be like one of the few people that actually watched Tron Legacy. I'm like, okay, that was an okay movie.
It was fine.
Like if you know, the first Tron was awesome, but then looking back at it, it's okay. Tron Legacy, like. I think it's more because I thought Olivia Wilde was like just smoking hot. And but yeah. But speaking of I don't know if the new Tron's gonna be like a remake or reboot or a distant sequel. I don't know how they're going to do that one.
Tron 3 is going to be a sequel.
Is it? Did they say it's Tron 3 or is it just like
Tron 3?
Okay. Should have brought the kid back.
Well, it's not like everything's, done. They just said, we're going to do this. They haven't really said anything about anything else, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's Tron in time. But, and then speaking of like distant sequels and reboots, especially the reboot part, there was another show that dropped this week. Oh, happy birthday, Josh!
Yeah, my birthday was Monday. In case y'all didn't know, I'm 27.
No, the most shot out looking 27-year-old I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't take care.
Life was hard for you, buddy.
Fine. I am 41.
God. But what was it? Velma dropped.
Yes, boy, was it dropped. Like a big old deuce.
I've been looking for that article that I read about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a hard time finding it. And I realized that article I was looking it up on my work computer when I was reading about it. So I can't that's another thing. I can't just go back and look on the history of my computer. But the more I looked for this article, every time I reload a page, it's more and more and more shit about Velma. Like, yeah, I hated the show. I thought it was an absolute shit show, but I stopped watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all these reviewers like, oh, we'll watch the show so you don't have to. Like, it's a shtick. All of those jackasses are doing this. Well, we'll review these shows so you don't have to review them. And then they talk about them, and then people really want to go see these shows. But what is Elroy? What is Elroy? Sounds familiar.
Jetsons reference. His boy Elroy.
Are we going to get an Elroy movie? That'd be awesome. I'd watch that. An adult Elroy. Elroy and the Robot Maid. But no, it's like one of those shows where
It'll be the new version of her.
make it like Lost in Space, where she killed all the Jetsons, but she's protecting him.
And she's his wife.
She's his wife. No, but going back to it though, let's just with Velma. There's, for those of you that are not familiar with Velma, I'll give you a quick breakdown of Velma.
Of Velma,
So
or of
she
the
is,
show that this thing is?
yeah,
Which
she
one?
is. Not a single one of the characters are likable. Not one. You have Velma, who is of Indian descent, Asian Indian descent.
Which is not a reason to hate someone, by the way.
No, I'm not. No. It's just like, but she is a character of Asian descent. She is gay in this show, I believe, gay or like bisexual. They still haven't really touched on it, but that she's not straight. Daphne is now a redheaded Asian American high school student who sells drugs and was adopted by two gay women who are also police officers.
Wanda
Shaggy,
Sykes and Jane Lynch,
Shaggy is no longer Shaggy, huh?
Wanda Sykes and Jane Lynch do those.
Yeah.
Voices. I liked hearing them.
And then you have Shaggy, who goes by his actual name of Norval, which is the character's name in the actual show. It is Norval. Yeah. And the closest thing you get to Shaggy with him is that he has a snack stream, a snack live stream. Talks about snacks. It's the closest thing we get to him. And then we have Fred, who is
drugs.
Oh yeah, and that stare into the camera when he says he doesn't do drugs. And then you have Fred, who God, if I have to hear more about this guy's micro penis. That was mentioned so many times in that show. So many times. He's a spoiled rich kid that is very self-centered.
Inadvertently racist, but overtly as well.
Yeah. And has a micro penis. And if you're thinking that's missing Scooby-Doo, it doesn't have the dog in it. But it has Frank Welker, who did the voice of Scooby-Doo, who plays the voice of Fred's dad. Now, going on from all this, and Glenn Howerton plays Fred, the guy that was in that 80s show. He plays the voice of Fred. But you brought up a good point to me about how it was intentionally written the way it was. I had a hard time believing that. Now looking back at everything, the show was initially supposed to be a show that Mindy Kaling did about a mystery solving outcast of a girl. HBO and Warner Brothers did not want to do that. Warner Brothers did not want to put out a show like that because I've been trying to find this article so I can talk more about this. I will actually post my own video discussing this. But due to licensing and everything else, they did not want to create another character and like license out another character. So they wanted to use already existing properties. So
the only
HBO
thing that sells is stuff that exists. Nothing new. Nothing new.
Yeah, so Warner Brothers pretty much told Mindy Kaling what she could make. And they told her use Mystery Inc., but you cannot use Scooby-Doo because a talking dog in a serious mystery, gruesome show like this, in an adult-themed show, a mystery dog would make no sense, despite Brian Griffin being a big thing in Family Guy. A talking dog has no place in an adult version of a Mystery Inc. or origin story. So we have no Scooby-Doo. This show's bad. There's no way around it. It's not funny. The jokes don't stick. A lot of the jokes don't stick. It's very much aware of itself.
Mm-hmm.
It is very aware of itself.
Episode scene 1. It tells you that it's aware of itself.
And yeah, I'm like, I remember like someone, like, I saw a comment saying like Mindy Kaling is a washed up Bollywood actress. I'm like, first off, she is an American. She was born in the United States, and she is a very brilliant writer most of the time. I can't really get behind the Mindy Project. And there was another show that she just did a little bit ago that was not really that funny to me either. But when her, like, the episodes that she wrote in The Office were absolutely hysterical.
Classics.
The lines that she wrote for her character were hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
And like the things that she put in, like, you know, the work that she put into her other projects that she's like walked into, she is very funny. She's very talented. This just sucks. And if they're going to get hate, like hate ratings and everything else, ratings are still ratings. Ratings equals money. The more people hate something, the more they will watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Naysayers out there, if you're saying no, I'm wrong, here's my one F-bomb. You're fucking idiots.
Well placed. Well placed.
Most people that hate anything will watch it completely. Look at politics.
They'll
the
watch
left
it.
hated Donald Trump. They watch Donald Trump.
It.
The right hates like, you know, Joe Biden. They watch Joe Biden. You know, like it just shines through. If you hate a comedian, you are constantly watching that comedian.
Put them under a microscope.
Yeah. If someone hates you, they know your every single step. Mm-hmm. So why should this be any different? It's not. The ratings are through the roof on this show. All from people that hate it. The YouTube channel for Warner Brothers, like for Velma, the YouTube channel has all kinds of views, a shit ton of dislikes. Guess what? They don't lose money with the dislikes. You can watch a YouTube video and dislike it. They're still making money off of you. Downvote it. They're still making money.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the viewership and the ad revenue. And then the followers. There's tons of followers, a lot of followers. Guess what? Those are the ones disliking because they want to know when they post so they can go and, you know, I hate watching the show right now. But the thing is, like, I mean, Josh, you and I, we discuss it a lot. We say it a lot. Like what you like. I'm not going to belittle you for it. Like, I'm not going to make fun of you for liking something. I like stupid shit.
People are allowed to
Josh
like
likes Back to the Future. So, I mean, it's, you know.
And you like
I'm kidding.
Me.
I'm kidding. I like Back to the Future. Who doesn't like Back to the Future? But I like messing with Josh. But it's like one of those shows where it's very aware of itself. It's very aware of its jokes. It's very aware of, like, I think like the opening scene, like you were saying earlier, I had to go back and watch it again to see like if I was wrong and mistaken. I was. When Velma says, "Don't you hate it when shows start off with women fighting in a shower?" That's exactly how the show starts off. The very first 25 seconds of the show was all kinds of pot shots at the actual franchise of Scooby-Doo. It got a lot of hate viewership, a ton. And Minnie Kaling and HBO are just laughing their ways to the bank right now.
Mm-hmm.
2 new episodes dropped, so now I can see why there's a second season coming up, because people are idiots. There's mob mentality.
Now I'm gonna say, just to throw this out there real quick, I had never had any intention of watching this show. Not out of any kind of principle. It just doesn't look like, or according to the trailers, it didn't look like I was the target demographic. Now, I kept hearing all of these things about how awful and terrible it is. So, it got to the point where when you were, saying, we should talk about this, I said, but it's so stupid. I don't want to watch it. But I caved in under peer pressure. I'm such a weak person.
No, totally. I just wanted you to watch it so we could discuss it.
And I watched it. And I said, oh, there is no target demographic because there's no one to root for.
Yeah.
There's no one to root for.
I had someone tell me that they felt dirty for watching Velma. I'm like, I didn't feel dirty watching Velma. They're like, well, what's the worst thing you've ever watched? Like, Cuties. That's the most uncomfortable I've ever been watching a movie.
As an adult?
What do you mean?
I mean, the Blue Lagoon still exists.
Well, I was a kid when the Blue. Actually, yeah, I was a kid when I was too young to even see it in theater. I was a baby when it came out. I'm talking about like fresh, like brand new, freshly out, something to discuss.
Oh, like for the
I
show?
mean, come on, what was it? Brooke Shields was also that 11-year-old prostitute in whatever the hell it's called. Pretty Baby, I think it is. But I mean, whatever. But I mean, I'm just saying. It's like I told him, it's like this is the most uncomfortable I've ever been. That was more uncomfortable than watching this. In recent years, that's the most uncomfortable I've ever been watching a movie. Velma's not uncomfortable; it's just intolerable to me.
Fair.
It's excruciating to get through. It's so hard to get through. So, yeah.
And we watched it, so you don't. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you watch it or not.
Well, I could always ask Samuel L. Jackson what he thinks about this.
No, I wish I had a soundbite right now.
That's okay. 1 second. Hey, Samuel.
Oh, God.
What are the ratings for Velma right now?
From JustJaw.com, Velma officially has a 1.3 star rating with over 33,000 votes after receiving negative reviews from people who dubbed the show woke and viewers on the other side of the aisle who were also unimpressed.
Hey, Samuel. Are we friends?
I hope you're friends. You did invite me into your house.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Are any of you friends with Samuel L. Jackson? I didn't think so. Hey, Samuel. What was the quote from Pulp Fiction?
From Goodreads.com.
Oh, no, Samuel, stop.
Is a compendium of wit and wisdom from well-known historical and contemporary cultural figures, from Oscar Wilde to Rita Mae Brown, from Quentin Crisp to Sandra Bernhardt, from James Baldwin to RuPaul.
Friends with Samuel L. Jackson. This is what you have him do? Just read stuff from the internet?
No. Hey, Samuel, what's the weather?
Happy fucking day. Currently in Long Beach, it's 53 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly clear skies. Tonight, you can expect clear skies with a low of 41 degrees.
Cool.
Are you jealous?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Totally.
Hey, Samuel, are you sick of these snakes on this plane?
I'm not sure.
Ask him what a cheeseburger in France is called.
Hey, Samuel, what is a cheeseburger in France called?
From Insider.com. And of course, the cheeseburger à cheval, which means on horseback in French. Fuck is the only fucking word that can be put in every fucking where and still make fucking sense.
That's not me. I didn't break the F-bomb rule. I went on mute. He's out of control. He's out of control.
I think Samuel L. Jackson gets a pass. Kevin Smith would also get a pass. He's talking to his buddy Sam, so.
I said F you to him. He didn't say anything back because Samuel. Hey, Samuel. Shut up. Can you tell Shaft to shut up? I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to. Shaft is one bad mother.
Oh, my God.
Oh, way to leave me hanging there.
God.
Way to leave me hanging.
You left yourself hanging. So, and now there are other things that have come out. There's other news of things that are coming out.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Let me see here real quick. There was a article I was looking at earlier here. So you have oh God, what was it here? I know they are working on a follow-up to the Squid Game. Kaleidoscope, was that the name of it? Kaleidoscope. That's what I was thinking of. Kaleidoscope. I believe. I don't know if it's out. I think it's out now.
Yes, Kaleidoscope is out now. It is the show that can be watched in any order and still apparently make some sort of sense. Although people that I know that have watched it and reviewed it said that's not actually true.
I mean, I want to check it out. It's got my girl Paz Vega in it.
Mm-hmm.
Fine as hell. Give me her and Pedro Pascal at the same time, a match could happen. Because he'd be watching while, she did her thing and I respected her privacy. You didn't think it was going to go to like a more of a wholesome route, did you?
No, I did not.
See? Because you're a pervert.
Yes. God. Yes, I am.
But yeah, there was a list I had, but I don't know what the hell I did with it. Yeah, no idea what I did with it. But anyway, so that's all I got. So what do we talk about now? Because it is Friday night and I'm off tonight. I don't have to work, so we have time to hang out and chillax.
Yeah, because that's exactly what we do here. We hang out and chillax. It's not.
Are you saying that you don't want to hang out and chillax?
I'm saying it might be time to bring the show to a close.
Wow. Fine. Hey, Samuel. Josh doesn't like you.
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Oh, Samuel, I'm sure.
The audio listeners don't know we're having a staring contest.
It's okay. I know. But if we stay like this, they'll think it froze up.
Come on, Brandon. Do it. Do a Carol Burnett. Huh? Do a Carol Burnett.
What do you mean?
Tug your ear. That means it's the end of the show.
Oh, Christ. Okay. So, all right. Since we're ending the show
Can't say
at a reasonable time tonight, you can follow me on the hell is my B Jackson 1982. Oh yeah, okay. You can follow me on Instagram, bjackman1982. It is the my handle down here at the bottom of the screen. You can follow me on Facebook. Send me a friend request. I may or may not, most likely will not accept it. Just look up Brandon Junk. You'll see a picture of me wearing a really nice jacket with a white V-neck T-shirt underneath of it while I'm hanging out, just enjoying nature, waiting to go to this film festival I went to.
Mhm.
And you can catch me there.
And when you're on OnlyFans, check out Brandon's Junk.
Yeah. I really need to post something on there to see if I can make some money. But yes, you can go to my OnlyFans. There's nothing on there really worth seeing because there's nothing there to see. But
That's what she
nothing
said.
hasn't already made it onto Facebook anyway, so you just would get it for free on Facebook. But outside that, yeah, our website is currently down. We are trying to find a new home for the WADcast.com. But you can also follow the WADcast. You can follow it on Facebook. You can follow it on Instagram. Both of them are pretty much different web addresses with the same ending. It's facebook.com/the WADcast. And on Instagram, just go in the search bar and just type in the WADcast. We have the same profile picture for both websites. It's just a black picture with a white banner that says the WADcast in it. So just go click on it, hit like, follow, and please don't leave us reviews about how some jackass taught you how to make a lot of money. I'm going to mess with you if that's the case, and not in a good way. I'll just pretty much ban you from the website. But yeah, just stop by, follow, and keep up with us. So,
WAD as in writers, actors, directors. That's a question from the audience, by the way.
Yep. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Josh, what about you?
Well, if you want to know everything that we're doing here, you can go to wadcomedia.com. That's right, wadcomedia.com. It's a website with all the pertinent links and information. There is stuff to all the Facebook pages where you should give it a like and, chime in on some of the conversations, especially when it comes to shows like Tuesdays, TV dinners, a new night, new time. No, same time, new night, Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. And that is hosted by Jen, and she talks about TV-related stuff, all sorts of TV-related stuff. And on Wednesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, it's 10-1, your favorite podcast about making lists. And that's movies and lists and all together, all in one. Yes, like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I think I did that backwards. Anyway, so WADcast, we do this thing here every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And you can find, again, all of the links that you need at wadcomedia.com. And there's also things like a Patreon. I don't really push people to it because that makes me obligated to actually do stuff. And really, who needs that in their life? But there's also a merchandising link where if you want to get a nice shirt that says, WADcast, or maybe if you want a Wadco Media shirt or hoodie, that's where you can get it. Just go to wadcomedia.com. That is, that's it. That's everything. That's all.
Yep.
I'll get
no more entertainment for you guys.
But you know what that means, right?
Time to go. I know that god awful wretched ass music that you like so much.
Love it. You ready? Are you ready?
It's already playing.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the WADcast episode number 117. Every week I give shut up. Every week I give the same message. And this is the 117th time I'm saying it. So maybe this time it'll sink in for everybody, but hopefully not, so I can keep saying it. Remember, the only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. If you want to be a creator, then the first thing, the last thing, the only thing you need to be doing is creating. If you want to be a writer, it doesn't matter if you have the most up-to-date version of Final Draft or if you have just this. And you know what? I have pieces of paper around here, but I'm about to pull out this. It's a napkin. Pen, napkin, boom, writer. Get it done. If you want to, direct phones. We have phones. Phones have these things called cameras on them. Woo! You can go and take footage and do all sorts of great things. If you want to act, pull some lines, start acting. Nothing is stopping you. You don't need to ask anybody's permission to create. You just need to start doing it. And the sooner you start doing it, the better you get at it. And I don't mean do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Do it now. If you want to be a creator, start creating now. Because you're the only thing stopping you. All right. That's going to do it for us here at the WADcast. Once again, thank you for joining us for episode number 117. We will be back next week with episode number 118. What is it going to be about? Hell if I know. It's not 5 minutes before airtime.
Yeah, we'll find out next Friday.
So yeah, that's going to do it for us. See y'all on the flippity flip as I search for this thing to end the show with. And again,